G'day, AJ.
Hello, Mo. How are you? Are you coming in loud and clear?
I'm coming in loud and clear. I'm coming in hot.
Are your
is what
landing
I'm
gears
coming in.
down?
My landing gears are down. I'm ready to hit the tarmac. Let's get it out of the way. The sooner the better. Sideline Sally will be happy. Hello, you. Hello,
Hello, you.
everyone. And welcome to another episode of Songs on the Couch.
Sitting down, we're talking out. Making it down, songs on the couch. Music and minds will figure it out. Laughing and learning what it's all about. On the couch.
All right, and the theme song plays. Woo! Okay. And we're back.
Yeah,
How are you today? Are we back online today?
we are back online. Yeah, I was a bit static at the start, but we back
Yeah,
online. Yes,
not like last
Last
week where we got a bit rained out with
we
the
did the thunderstorms.
the thunderstorm, the bit of internet trouble. You know, it just really blocked us from this cracking tune, which we were very excited to share with you all, our analysis.
It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut. I must admit, I didn't know much about it beforehand, and I'm not sure many people will. But once you do, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, put this on the playlist."
the playlist, because it is a banger. It is a banger. And why don't you tell the people, AJ, why don't you tell the people, what are we covering today? What's the analysis of today?
We are covering No More Tears, parentheses, and I think this is the right time to use the word parentheses. Enough is Enough. A song recorded by American singers Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer.
Holly Dooley taking us back to the golden age, the golden era of disco.
And musicals. Or theatre. I guess theatre production.
Musical theatre.
Musical theatre.
Well,
yeah.
it certainly, kind of has that musical theatre influence coming through from Barbra Streisand, because Babs, she cut her teeth on Broadway and musicals, and it's a little, I'm going to say it's probably a little influenced. It feels a little influenced from, musicals and Broadway, and but it is a banging disco tune that has many parts, many I don't know any other. What's the musical term for it? It's got light, it's got dark, it's got shade, it's got light, it's got bits and pieces.
You know what it is? You know how the radio does mashups? This is the first mashup of two genres being put together to make one song.
Yeah. But ultimately the genre feels like it's disco, because that feels like the most
the crux
the biggest
of it.
portion of the song.
Yeah.
The biggest portion of the song is the bang disco beat,
which kicks in halfway at the halfway mark. So the first half is it's almost a bit of a Broadway musical song, and then it kicks into this disco. And then for me, it feels like it should be like a what we're saying, like a rock opera, it should be like a stage production song, like Fame, of that era, where I'm like, oh, where's the rest of the songs that fit this storyline to have a complete album of this type of music?
So it is that sort of slow build up. It's disco foreplay is what it is.
I've never heard anyone say disco foreplay. Wow. All right. Well, look, disco is where you get on the dance floor and you move your feet.
You move your feet.
So it gets you that,
as the kids say, you cut up a rug.
A rug.
You cut up a rug. You carve up the dance floor. You cut up a rug. That's what dancing will do. Cut up rugs, apparently.
My version of
Yeah.
cut up rugs is a little bit different to the dancing of cutting up rugs, but okay, sure.
You're going for the literal translation.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So tell me, what can we get straight into the interesting tidbits
Yeah.
of this cracking disco tune of 1970? What? 1979. Okay. So what was going on in 79? I was 4. You weren't even a twinkle in your father's eye.
I was like -6, -9 actually. I was -9.
-9. I was 4. You were -9 in 1979. And Donna and Babs have come up with the goods. How did this happen?
It's really interesting. So let's get started.
Oh yeah,
Let's get into it. So where do I even begin? Well, so it was written by two songwriters. We'll call them songwriters, not singers, but they're the, like Bernie Taupin for Elton John. They were songwriters for,
Yes.
artists. Paul Jabara and Bruce Roberts.
Okay, so this is a feminist song written by men.
Yeah.
Shit, that's disappointing.
And produced by men.
I think my heart just shattered into a million pieces.
Unfortunately, it's not a song that Barbara and Donna wrote together.
I don't love that, but
I'm
okay,
so
I'll
sorry.
allow
I'm
it.
so sorry for you, and I'm sorry, listeners.
Look, I think, is it possible for men to be feminists?
Think so. Of 1979, I don't know about that, unless there could be, but I don't. It was very unheard of, I'd say.
Well, I don't know. This poses a bit of a dilemma for me internally because I'm really not sure that men can write about women's issues. It just feels mansplainy. But potentially, I'm hoping that this comes from a place of men watching their mothers or their sisters be disempowered by other men and coming up with a feminist anthem. I'm having a bit of cognitive dissonance is what I'm having.
Or they just wrote the lyrics thinking these are really good lyrics, and then Barbara and Donna went, "Oh, actually, this is what our interpretation of the song is. Let's make it like this."
Potentially, okay. There is some meaning in the delivery. There is some feminist meaning in the delivery.
Yeah.
It is, delivered with I'm going to say a shared rage that crescendos towards the end of the song.
Yeah,
but I think it starts off as a despondence, women feeling rather despondent about, their place in the gender hierarchy. There's a despondence. There is an emotional state of disbelief and dissociation, perhaps moving into activating some anger and some rage, which is often at the seat of change. And we are not into the psychological analysis yet, but the fact that this is a feminist song and it was written by men is creating a little bit of cognitive dissonance inside of me. I'm not loving it, but I am loving that the feminist rage has been delivered through the vocal stylings of Donna Summer and Barbra Streisand, who have made it their own. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will shut up now.
And I may break some more like little hearts in your big heart while I go on with these interesting tidbits.
Okay.
Just foreshadowing, pre-warning. You may go, "Oh, really? Oh, okay."
I tell you where I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting in an illusion that there were two women in the 70s, which was kind of around the second wave of feminism, which had swept through the world.
Yep.
Putting pen to paper as musicians and sharing their voice on the matter. But that's the illusion that I'm sitting in, but I'm pretty freaking sure that you're about to shatter that illusion. You're about to just rip that out of my heart like it's glass and smash it on the ground into a million pieces.
I don't intend, which is not intentional. I assure you. This,
Okay.
I'm feeling for you as I'm saying, as what I'm about to say.
Mate, I should have looked up the interesting tidbits and I should have prepared myself. But anyway, go on.
That's all right. Well, look, I will give you one thing that might bring you up before it potentially brings you down. They are they are the forerunners of. So they were the first female duo to break through the charts. So from there, they went gangbusters in regards to,
female duos.
Or not, like, prior to that, you either had, like, in this genre and in this scene, so like the 50s, you had like the Ronettes, who were like, they were a group, but like manufactured group, or you had like the backing singers, like female backing singers, but you never had like two big artists come together
in their own right
to do a song, like a song together that blew up. So then after that, then you had all the artists go, oh, we can actually collaborate and we can bring out like songs together.
So
like
they busted the doors wide open to female duets, is what you're saying.
Prior to that, there was male and female. Like you had Sonny and Cher, and you had Elton John and
Kiki D.
Like there were male and female like duets. Johnny Cash and
June Carter Cash.
June Carter Cash, yeah, but no two big female names coming together.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it was all manufactured. So
hang on one moment. Did you just hear that? That was my heart shattering a little bit again. Did you hear that? Crash. I don't know, Sideline Sally, can you like insert sound effect here? Smash.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And the crowd going,
oh.
So all of this was a money-making business move. So the two writers, who were also separate writers for Barbra and Donna, so they both had one half of this song each. So, Paul had this stage musical version of the start of the song, and then Bruce had the disco version, or the disco lyrics side of it.
So they came together and they're like, how do we marry these two disparate genres of music?
Yeah. So then they got producers, Giorgio Moroder, who is a very famous, disco. He was a very famous, producer and electronic, artist, electronic discotheque artist. He did the I guess the soundtrack, or the backing track for "I Feel Loved" by Donna Summer. So he was Donna Summer's producer, and then Gary Klein was Barbara's producer. So hence at the start you hear the whole orchestral, stage theater sound, and then Giorgio's production is the whole disco elements to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really hate that they're men though, but anyway, carry on. Right, but it is, gender aside, it is like a creative force, two creative forces that have come together to create something really new at that time.
Yeah, and really the song was primarily for Barbra. So it went on her album at the time, which was the album Wet, but then the track on Donna Summer's record was just on a compilation as a new song as part of her compilation album. So it's more of it was more suited for like to go on like Barbra Streisand's actual album that she was doing, where Donna Summer's side of it, or the song for Donna Summer went on hers just went on a compilation album. It didn't go on an album that was coming out for her. Yeah.
And would you be surprised to know probably not.
Mm-hmm.
And our 3 dedicated listeners probably are not surprised to know that I watched a Barbra Streisand documentary.
Oh,
And
okay, of
Barb,
course.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah, I did. And something very interesting about Babs is that she did like to play around with genre, and she had released albums. She liked to try different genres and release albums with different genre underpinnings. And this was, you know, a good foray into disco for her. She also, I think, she had some songs written by the Gibbs, Barry Gibbs. Gibb. The Gibbs brothers, Barry
Gibbs,
Gibb.
yeah.
Is it Gibbs or Gibb? Barry Gibbs. I don't know.
Barry
From
Gibb. I think it's Gibb.
From the Bee Gees fame.
Mm-hmm. And they brought out a
was on
song
the
together too,
same-
didn't they?
Yeah,
brought
I
out a
think it was the
single together.
same album. Was it 'Cause we got nothing to be guilty of? Do you know that song?
I sure do. Yeah. I love.
okay.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a
Okay,
cracking
so-
song as well. Oh my god.
Cracking song. Good song.
Yeah.
Yes, because we know that your heart is in the 70s.
Yes.
Even though you were -9.
I was
when
-9.
when this came out. So, yes. So that was my interesting tidbit about Barbara, is that she actually liked to play between genres and tried a few things out on a few different albums and started out on Broadway. And here we are, we're in disco.
Yeah. And when they recorded this song, the two of them actually never recorded in the same room or at the same time. They both recorded separate parts, and then the final production, they put it together. So, and they never sang it live together either. They both sang it live at their own concerts with, you know, prospective other singers joining or playing the opposite part of, you know, Donna having her own vocalist and Barbara having her own other vocalist joining in. But during recording, they were not together at all. So, which was rare as well for back then. Like,
very rare. I mean, it shatters another illusion for me, because here I was thinking that these are
like they got together and like, yeah, like let's do this song, like let's battle it out in a room.
Two women who are hard done by, who have bonded over the hard done byness, and have decided to channel that angst and that fury into a musical masterpiece. But no, the reality. And they never even sung it together. They never sung it together.
No.
Wow, that is astounding.
Didn't sing it together on the recording and never sang it live together. But in 2012, Barbara put the song in her set list, and that was around the time that Donna had passed away, and she put the song in her set list and actually said, you know, when you do this song is about, and you know, a little bit of a backstory before the song, she actually said that she wished that she was wanting to play that song live with her at least once, but never got the chance.
Never got the chance.
Yeah,
so
she wished they sung the song together in person. Yeah.
Which is, you know, they busted the door wide open for other female artists to collaborate and walk through that door.
Yeah.
And there's people that are really good at doing that, like Kelly Clarkson on her show. She, you know, I mean, not so much, well, potentially recording. I don't know if she recorded female duets, but, you know, would collaborate a little bit on live sets. But, you know, Taylor Swift is renowned for doing that now. She's got duets with, you know, Florence from Florence and the Machine and Gracie Abrams, and they're all recorded collaborative female duets. But back in
Beyonce,
they've all done it.
Yep.
Yeah, Lady Gaga with Beyonce.
Yeah.
You know, look, the list goes on. It's an exhaustive list. But, you know, it seems like Babs and Donna were the trailblazers.
They were the trailblazers. Yeah.
Right. But it has shattered Mo's illusions that fury brought them together, being sick of men's shit brought them together, and they they had the idea and they generated the song. But anyway, it's all right. I'll sit in this cognitive dissonance over here and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay.
And there's 4 versions when it came out. There's actually 4 different versions of the song. There's like the standard version. Donna Summer put out like what we call a 12-inch single. So back then, a record is 12 inches. Typically a record single is 4 inches. So, and it plays like 2, maybe 1 or 2.5 minute songs, where a 12-inch single played was like an extended mix or an extended remix, which went for like 11, 12 minutes.
Wow.
And then there was radio edits for the radio where they cut out like most of the intro and a bit of the, middle bit and the ending to make it shorter.
To make it more disco.
Took out a bit of Barbara's bits. And it was covered twice. So back in 1994 and in 2008. So there's also 2 cover versions of the song, which I never knew.
Who covered it? Which artists?
So American singers Kim Mazel and Jocelyn Brown back in 1994. And then in 2008 by an artist called Amber and another artist called Zelma Davis. Which
I've never heard of them, but I think that, if anybody's listening, get on the YouTube, see if you can find those.
Find them.
See if they are, a patch on the original.
The original hit the number 1 in the Billboard charts, and so did the covers. Not number 1, but they hit the charts again. The covers hit the charts. So,
right. But Babs and Donna hit number 1.
Hit number 1, making it the biggest female duos of all time.
Oh, holy dooly! That's I'm loving that, because you know what that tells me? That there were a lot of disgruntled women who felt validated and heard, and bought the album, bought the single, bought the album,
and had no idea it was written by men or produced by men.
Right.
Yeah.
Still, we can hold that Donna and Babs were the cover. The what do we call it? The cover girls for, this for feminism.
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit about our lovely artists. Do you want to hear a little bit of I know hey look, and you've watched Barbara's doco, so I could be wrong.
I have watched a bit of
Barbara.
Yeah. I have watched a bit of Babs's, but it was a while though. It was a while ago though, so my memories are probably a little bit short about it. But try me. It might spark a few things. So why don't you tell me? Give us a little interesting tidbits about Babs and about Donna. Go ahead.
Well, actually, because we know Donna. If you know Donna Summer, you know her as the Queen of Disco, or one of the Queen of Disco. Definitely, probably up the Queen of Disco, I would say.
Yeah.
But
how good is I Feel Love?
Mm-hmm.
Hot Stuff.
Yeah.
MacArthur Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that. Yeah. She's amazing. Anyway, do go on.
But she actually didn't see herself as a disco singer. She didn't want to be a disco singer. She's actually, she's trained in German musical theatre. And started her career in the rock musical, she in Hair. If you don't know Hair, it's a rock musical from the 60s about, the hair of the 60s in Munich. And she spoke fluent German, lived in Europe for years. So nowhere near the American disco, genre or era of.
So she was American but living in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Listen, can I, a little bit of selective self-disclosure here. I'm on let me tell you what day I'm on.
It's Monday.
No. I'm on day 860 of learning German on Duolingo. That's 860 days.
There you go.
Of learning German on Duolingo. Mate, it is a hard language. Props to Donna. It's easy to a point, and then it gets really hard when you've got to arrange the words in sentences in a way that's different to English, and you've got to put prefixes on nouns that, it's not just It's Der, Die and Das. Anyway, props to Donna that she's an American living in Germany, getting trained in German musical theatre, and then takes a detour and becomes a disco queen. But anyway, props to Donna.
Because Giorgio Moroder, who was a producer and did all the backing tracks, he's from the European. He used to drive to Germany because even though disco was big in America, it was also big in Germany, but not disco. Like they had what they called discotheques, which was more like electronic music. Yeah. It wasn't really disco. It was like pre-electro music, like before it became it was like the forerunners of electro music back then. Using synthesizers and just creating like dance tracks, like for clubs. Essentially, discotheques were clubs back then. So she was actually burnt out from doing all that with Giorgio, or Giovanni. Giorgio is his actual name. So it lands. So this song kind of lands right in that breaking point as well, where I think she's like, "Yeah, I'm done doing disco. Like, I'm happy to go back to my roots and do some theory. Man, I can't get my words today. Theatrical music.
Theatrical, yeah. Wow, and. I just wanted to look up Giorgio Moroder because I just had a little look. He has worked with
everyone.
Rolling Stones, Electric Light Orchestra, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Queen, and Elton John. He has, produced a lot of stuff for a lot of people.
If you're
He's composed film soundtracks.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Right. For the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah. Electric Blue. I think was Giorgio Moroder and what's the singer from I can't think. I've gone blank.
Oh, you're not thinking of Oh, jeez. Listeners, help us out. Wish they could call in.
Wait,
are you thinking of an Australian band?
No, that's Ivor Davies. No, it's not Electric Blue. It's
Are you thinking you're talking about a movie?
Yeah, it was a soundtrack from one of the movies. And
Midnight Express, American Gigolo. Midnight Express, American Gigolo, Superman 3, Scarface, The Never-Ending Story.
Nah. It was the dun 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 dun. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. That band, that group. Who is that?
That group. Who is
when
that
I met
group?
You.
Yeah, hang on, let me have a look. Don't you want me?
Do you want me, baby? Yeah, so the male singer of that group did a song
Human League.
Human League. That's it.
The Human League. Don't You Want Me?
Yeah,
is that song?
He did a song with Giorgio Moroder for a movie about, it was like a bad 80s movie where like it was about a guy owned a computer and the computer became self-aware and then fell in love with
dreams.
Yes. Yeah. And then fell in love with like the guy's girlfriend and then like
we'll
tried to
always be together.
In Electric Dreams.
However far it's love never ends. We'll always be together. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So that's where
I'll stick to my day job.
Yeah.
I'll stick to my day job.
Oh, you're doing well. I'm brain fried today.
Yeah. Okay. So it was Electric Dream. So the lead singer from Human League sung a song on the soundtrack of Electric Dreams. Okay.
By Giorgio Moroder.
By Giorgio Moroder. Yeah. And, if you are less than 30 years of age, how old would you have to be to know this 80s stuff? Like in your 40s? Anyway, do yourself a favour. Go watch some daggy 80s movies like Electric Dreams.
Yeah. Mannequin. That's another good, bad 80s movie.
Yeah. So is like Weird Science. Was it Weird Science?
Weird Science, yeah.
And,
pretty much any John Hughes movie.
John Hughes, yeah. But we're a little bit before our time.
We haven't hit that era yet.
We haven't hit that era yet. One of my favourite movies. It's not a John Hughes one. I think it's Savage Steve Holland, another producer. It's called Better Off Dead, and it stars John Cusack, and there is this scene with like a claymation burger that is dancing to I think it's Van Halen's Everybody Wants Some. I want some too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that? That's my best David Lee Roth impersonation.
Nice.
Anyway, so of the genre, but anyway, that was a bit after No More Tears, Enough is Enough. We are digressing. We are really digressing here. Tell me more. Is there any more interesting tidbits about Donna and about Babs? Go ahead.
Well, that's pretty much the, that's what I thought the most interesting tidbits about Donna. I didn't know she was fluent in German and spent her time in Germany. And, I just thought she was, a disco artist that was, because disco is like New York. I think that's where like disco, Studio 54, that's New York.
Yeah.
That's where disco came from. So, yeah.
But she was really far removed from it over in Germany, but slipped into the scene in this underground discotheque, Giorgio Moroder produced kind of vibe, and that's where she landed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. Go Donna. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And she's no longer with us. She died in the 2010s sometime.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
And, right, okay. So what about Babs? You got any interesting tidbits about Babs?
Babs. Well, yeah. Well, this is had never released a straight up dance track before this. She was always, like you said, always doing stage musicals or like theatre production type songs. So it was considered a career risk, but she refused to, sing the disco lyrics unless they had emotional weight. So I think that's probably why she said, "Yeah, I'll do it." Which is why her verses are pure, like they're not. Even though she's singing in the disco part, you can definitely hear her her theater side
it's that
coming
orchestral kind of,
yeah,
musical theater. I don't know. It's got that mood, that vibe to it. Especially, we're talking. It's got the melancholy to it. It's raining, it's pouring. My love life is boring me to tears. It's that.
Now, I got to ask you a question. Every time you listen to the song, how many times in your head did you change the lyrics to "This old man is snoring"?
Yeah, right.
I was like, "It's raining, it's pouring, Oh no, that's not the lyrics to the song.
That's not it.
Okay.
That's not it. Yeah, look, I should be the one doing that because I was about 4 years old when this came out.
True.
I'm gonna digress here. I'm gonna move a little.
I feel like this episode is just full of digressions.
I know, right? Just stay along for the journey, listeners. We'll get you there eventually.
That's it. It's about the destination, not the journey.
It's about the destination. All right. So here's a little bit of a digression. Do you remember? I don't know if maybe you were probably a bit too young for this, but when I was little, we had a Fisher Price, which is a toy brand, a Fisher Price record player. And it used to have these thin little plastic records that you'd put on this record player. Do you remember that? Yeah, okay. You remember that toy?
Do you want to know something? My son has one of those now. They're still making them.
They're still making them. Okay.
He has one now.
Okay. Well, I had one in the 70s. And
Yeah,
let me tell you, there was a very disturbing song on one of those little records. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look it up. And the reason I'm telling you is that just coincidentally, this song is the soundtrack of my childhood, and along with Babs was featured very highly in my household. So was like George Benson. Do you know George Benson? Mm-hmm. So give me the night. You know that one?
Mm-hmm.
So was the Bee Gees. And then, Kiss, we had the Kiss Dynasty album. But anyway,
Yeah.
this song, No More Tears, Enough is Enough, is kind of in like my core memory bank along with this little record song. And I'm gonna read you the lyrics of this nursery rhyme, right?
Okay. I feel like was it also more disturbing when the batteries were dying? So it was sounding like it was, as it was dying, it was like, and like it just got more like worse.
That's it. Correct.
Like an exorcism was needed to be happen on this record player. Like
pretty much. Well, that probably would have scared the shit out of me as an adult if I heard that and these lyrics. So this song was called One Misty Moisty Morning. Okay. All right. No.
okay.
No. Bear with me. It gets better.
Oh wow.
Okay. So the lyrics are, one misty, moisty morning, when cloudy was the weather, I chanced to meet an old man clothed all in leather. He began to compliment, and I began to grin. How do you do? And how do you do? How do you do again? I'm looking back at that as an adult.
This is BDSM, to
this
the level.
This is BDSM, PDF files,
leather,
nursery rhymes.
moist, geez, misty mornings.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. So that little nursery rhyme from that little Fisher-Price record player was like burned in my memory around the same times as songs like, No More Tears, Enough is running around in my head because, there was a lot of LPs being played in my house.
Yeah.
And it's not until I'm like 25 that like this song comes into my head and I'm like, say what? It's like an old man clothed all in leather. And he began to compliment and I began to grin. Yeah. So anyway, these two songs are intrinsically linked in my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's around the same time.
I wonder in the world of YouTube if someone has uploaded has got the record player and has recorded that record and then uploaded it to YouTube. We have to look it up.
Yeah, we've got to look it up.
I'm curious. I'm so curious.
Someone comment. I mean, look, we are here at Songs on the Couch for psychological analysis and my psychological analysis of one misty, moisty morning is that there is a dead set predatory creeping up on kids in leather and trying to ingratiate himself to them through compliments.
Now, we haven't done a kids song.
No,
should this be on the next episode?
Well, we just did. We just did.
There's not much you can do for the tidbits of Fisher and Price.
Right? We just did.
We could shut a whole company down. Anyway.
Maybe we should do a kids song. How did we get onto this song? How did we get onto Donna Summer and Babs?
No, because last episode we did Elton John, and then towards the end, we were talking about David Bowie and Donna Summer, and then we said, well, which one should we do? And then you said, oh, why don't we do Donna Summer and Barbra Streisand, Enough is Enough.
Okay, because at the time I was holding the illusion that it was two disgruntled women riding the wave of the second wave of feminism, feeling very rageful towards men and deciding to artistically channel their rage. But you've just shattered that illusion. You've just taken a big dump all over that today.
Now I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you now have to change what you're going to talk about in regards to this song, or are we still going down no, it's a feminist song?
No, we're still going down the track. It's a feminist song. No, mate, I'm not changing what I'm saying about this song. I'm not. I'm still.
You can't take this away from me.
You cannot take this feminist anthem away from me. I don't care that it was written by men. I care that it is sung by women and it has a feminist sentiment, and I am here for it, for women. So this is 1979. This is like the second wave of feminism. We have got two distinct voices. We've got a disco queen in Donna. She's like sensual. She like embodies liberation, right? Because like, you know, it was the sexual revolution of women in the 60s and 70s. She was like, I mean, she was a classically trained German theatre major, but she was embodying liberation, right?
Pretty sexy. Like she was
that is sexy.
Yeah.
That is sexy. And then we've got a Broadway icon in Babs. She's got control, precision, you know, her voice, perfection. Her voice is a vocal weapon, right? It's a weapon. So, you know, and we are shifting in the late 70s from Please Love Me to Mate, I Don't Need You and I Will Survive Without You. So
love me do to love me don't.
Right? And you don't need to love me because I actually don't need your love. I'm actually okay as I actually don't need a man for survival. You know, it is a little bit of like I will survive, but it's a bit transcendent of I will survive. It's like I will survive and I'll be freaking angry about the way that you've treated me, actually.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think this is if we're looking at the stages of the song, right? Because it is in kind of three distinct stages. We've got the, you know, the orchestral part, we've got the disco part, we've kind of got the bridge, which is, I don't know how I could describe that in a genre term, but it's something, you know, it's something different. And then we've got
the part.
We've got the crescendo at the end, you know. So the stage one is kind of the reflective part. You know, when we've been wronged and something happens to us, we're kind of like, why? We're sad, you know.
Like it's the 7 stages of grief when you break up with someone.
Yeah, right. But this one only had kind of like, you know, 3 phases of like, I'm sad. Why is this happening? And then you've kind of got the thinking part. It's like, well, actually, I think this happened because the men that I've been engaging with are shit. And then we get to stage 3, which is, although there is that little gap, that little reflective gap in the, well, it is sort of the stage 2, this cognitive reappraisal part where the, you know, where the chimes go, you know, the little chimes in the little bridge bit. It's a bit of thinking time, right? Where we're thinking about what happened, what went wrong. And I have to say, I am actually blown away by the production values of this song. The harmonies are so tight. I mean, this is the 70s. There was very little technology. You know, those chimes, to get the rhythm right on the timing and the rhythm right on those little chimes must have taken a lot of skill and effort. Anyway.
And remember, they were recorded separately. So they didn't have each other to bounce off to make like for cues and like to go, oh, you're going to hit this part here. I'm going to like, they both did their parts separately and just, they knew the brief.
They nailed it. So we have a little bit of thinking time in the middle there, and then we start to get angry and we formulate some boundaries and we say, enough is enough. I want him out. I want him out that door now. I can't go on. Right? And we're angry, and you're right. It is, you know, the first few stages of grief, but, you know, sped up to like a disco BPM, right?
Yeah. It goes from zero. It goes from 0 to that escalated quickly.
It really does. It really does. So, you know,
it's not a bad thing because the 7 stages of grief does take a long time. So I'd be happy if I went from 0 to 100 like overnight like that. I think that'd be great.
Well, actually, I mean, it's a bit of, look, let's talk about grief. Can we talk about grief?
Yeah, of course. Especially when you break up with someone.
But, right, I think there is, you know, the stages of grief is a good way to explain it. But I think ultimately there really are only two phases of grief. The acute phase where it's really destabilizing and crippling, and then the chronic phase where, you're always going to feel some kind of loss, sadness, but different feelings during that chronic stage. You might get angry, you might get sad, you might get reflective, you might feel despondent, you might feel disdain, you might feel lots of things, but you're always going to feel something. The acute phases where you feel some of those things and that sadness and loss sort of more intensely.
Like in the now, like you're feeling it like right now, it's raw, or
it's raw. Yeah, it's acute. It's like when the loss has been in the not too distant past.
Still slapping you in the face.
Still slapping you in the face. But what I love about this song is like it is a shared grief. We've got dual voices, which is kind of like symbolic of like, when there's two female voices on it, it's symbolic of like, you're not alone. There's other women who feel this way. That dual voice of affirmation and validation that like, you're not the only one, but also those dual voices actually can sort of speak to like the different parts of this desire to set a boundary. There is the emotional part, which is hurting and it's longing and it's vulnerable. But then there's the kind of the thinking part, which is like strategic and, boundaried and a bit terrifying, a little bit like bull at a gate, very determined. And so these are like two parts integrating. Two parts of self that are integrating, the sad and the longing part, but the part that's like, hey, it is sad and it hurts and you are longing for something different, but you don't need to put up with shit no more.
That's right.
One part says, I'm hurt. The other one says, I'm done. I am done.
Yeah.
So they're high-fiving, but in harmony. That's what's going on.
In separate rooms.
Probably in separate countries. Donna was probably in Germany.
Yeah, probably. Or separate states. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but, let's have a think about sort of, I guess, at the time, what were women sick of? What was enough? What had women of the late 70s said that they are sick of and they've had enough of? And I think they're sort of saying that they've had enough of relational dynamics that keep them small and exhausted and emotionally responsible for everybody else. They've had enough of that.
And not just in life, but especially in the music industry, because it's a very male-dominated industry, and I think it's still definitely is. And for female artists, it was so much harder for them to get out there than it was for male, especially for not so much for singers, but for actual musicians, like, especially female bands. Like, there was probably like one female band to like 20 male bands that made it big. And really, there's only one that, if you said, can you tell me any female bands of the 70s, of that like late 70s era, would probably be the Runaways, that were probably like the biggest.
Joan Jett and Blondie. Don't forget Deborah Harry.
But Blondie wasn't an all-girl band. It was just
you're talking about all-girl.
I'm talking about like all-girl bands.
Okay.
Like all-girl artists with no males. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
okay.
And the 77, 78, that was like punk as well.
Yeah.
So just before disco. So, and
so women are saying, I have had enough of male-dominated industries. I have had enough of men calling the shots. I have had enough of men keeping me small, is what women are saying.
It is. Thanks to be written by a man, though.
Oh, shut up. I don't love that.
It's terrible. How bad is it, though?
It is bad. It is bad. But I've got a few other ideas about what women have had enough of. Yes, men in the music industry, they have had enough of that. But I think they'd had enough of like weaponized incompetence, which is this construct of like, I'd help you with the housework, but I just don't know how to do it. You do it better than me. Like, if you can be perfectly competent at work, but suddenly helpless with the dishes and the dishwasher and the washing machine and the childcare, that's strategic. That's what that is. And, you know, if men can rebuild a carburetor and take apart an engine and put one back together, they can do the freaking dishes, is what they can do. Right?
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, the American housewife dream was still alive.
Was it a dream? I don't know if any woman woke up and went, that's what I want.
Yeah, be a housewife. Hello, dear, dinner's ready.
I don't think anybody wanted that. And I think women were sick of emotional labor inequality at that time. I'm not certain that, you know, Donna and Babs were. They probably were. Emotional labor inequality is like where women hold all the birthdays. They remember when the school stuff's got to be paid for. You know, they smooth over conflicts. They plan everybody's social lives. They do lots of emotional repair, right? Like, men have traditionally enjoyed the emotional stability of a relationship without actively maintaining it or contributing to it. And I think, you know, women have been responsible for the entire relational nervous system regulation, and they're a bit freaking sick of it.
Yeah.
I know I am. And what else were women sick of and had they had enough of? You know, infidelity. Infidelity, double standards, the idea that boys will be boys, but if you're a woman and you are unfaithful or enjoying your sexuality, you're a slut. You're a whore. Not allowed to do that.
But
so
even racism, like you got to think you've got an African American and a Jewish person singing this song. Like
so
the
they are
polar opposites.
But extra marginalized.
Yeah.
As Jewish women and as black women, they are holding more emotional labor than white women. They've
so
had
much
enough.
scrutiny. Yeah, 100%.
They have had enough. I tell you what else women had enough of in the late 70s. Economic dependence. You couldn't even get a credit card or a checkbook without a husband. Your career path was limited. Divorce carried a serious financial risk. 70s women wanted financial independence. They had enough of financial dependence, economic dependence. So there's a lot here, I think, that we could take away from this song, even though, you know, the nuts and bolts of the song tells us it was written by men and women performed it, which is another inequality within itself. What are we? You're freaking performing monkeys? Are we your circus animals? Are we here to generate economic freedom for you? Because sure as shit, I bet you those producers got more of a cut than the artists, right? That were out there performing it, sweating over it.
And you got to remember, because they were both on two separate labels, each label got their own cut as well.
Right, and they're all men. Women have had enough of that.
There was not many women in the executive music industry.
I bet you they were all
and you know what?
men.
And I can probably guarantee there's probably still not many still to this day.
I would be,
unless they're doing it themselves, you know, like Taylor Swift doing it all herself, you know, but, you know, like back then, like Warner, you know, EMI, Sony, Warner, Virgin Music, like they were all, you know, the big companies were all men run.
Yeah. So essentially, women had, you know, men were running the show and women were expected to shrink to manage the male ego. And, you know,
a paycheck as well. You don't sing it, you don't get paid. You know?
Right. And women were being told not to earn more, not to appear smarter, not to be too ambitious, not to be too loud. But these disco divas did the opposite, even though it was freaking written by men, which I'm not happy about.
So did you honestly think it was written by them too? And they collaborated and went, let's write
Yeah,
this.
I really did. But you know what?
I
You know
feel
what?
for you.
I'm
I feel for
actually
you, Mo.
not surprised. I'm actually not surprised because it was the 70s and the music industry was dominated by men behind the scenes, and women were used as
50s,
props
60s, 70s,
to
80s.
to make money for men. I'm actually not surprised. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I wish that the illusion that I was holding was true, but at least the message is there and I can hear the rage in their voice.
Yeah, that's right.
And I can hear the rage of them carrying all the things that women were sick of in the 70s, which was being expected to shrink for the male ego, the expectation to fix broken men, carrying all of the emotional labor, being the cool girlfriend who tolerates everything shitty from her man,
The jock
financial dependence,
yeah.
double standards. I can hear the rage in their voice, and I'm okay with just having that little bit.
Yeah.
Just having that bit from them.
We will not take that away from you, I promise.
Thanks, AJ. Thanks.
That's all right, Mo. That's
yeah,
all right.
lots has come up today, but it's okay. I'm gonna regulate my feelings. I'm gonna, maybe go home and eat my feelings.
That's all right.
But it has stirred up a few feelings for me, and ultimately it feels very meta. The song that I thought was about feminism does not have origins in feminism, which is not surprising because girls do run the world as Beyonce wants to believe, but do they really still in 2026? Probably we've clawed our way up a bit, but particularly in the music industry, likely still dominated by men. All right, I'm depressed now.
Unless you go out on alone and you make a big alone.
And you do a Taylor, and props to her. But she did get screwed over by men. Looking at you, Scooter Braun. And all right, I think we better end this episode here. It's on a
Yeah.
low note. Sorry.
You're
It's on
saying
a low
enough is
note.
enough. You've had
I'm
enough
saying
of this episode.
I've had enough of
I can't
trying
talk anymore. Yeah.
the cognitive dissonance that I thought this was a feminist anthem, but really it's just been a sausage fest.
Enough sausage for one night.
Right.
I've had my bratwurst worth.
Well, Donna had, really, living in Germany. She's had all.
Touche. Yeah, didn't.
Boom, boom. Okay, we are
That note.
ending on a high.
Yeah,
On that
that's
note.
it. On
all
that
right.
note.
Well,
Auf
I'm not sure
Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. I'm not sure what we're going to do next time, but we will put our thinking brains on. But until then, Auf Wiedersehen, or the casual farewell, which is tschüss.
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 See you next time.
It's almost like peace. Tschüss.
Peace. Tschüss. Until next time. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sitting down, we're chalking out. Breaking it down, songs on the couch. Music and minds, we'll figure it out. Laughing and learning what it's all about. On the couch.
Thanks for tuning in to Songs on the Couch. We hope you enjoyed putting today's song under the microscope with us.
And hey, the conversation doesn't have to end here. Join us over on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Songs on the Couch, where we're sharing behind-the-scene clips, more fun music insights, and of course, chatting with you all.
And if you're an artist, musician, psychologist, counsellor, psychotherapist, or know someone who'd love to sit on the couch with us, have your management reach out. We'd love to hear from you at hello@songsonthecouch.com.
Follow us, subscribe, and let's keep rocking out together. Catch you next time on Songs on the Couch.